Right now, somewhere, someone is being told to be quiet. Not with words, sometimes with a look, sometimes with silence, sometimes with a whole crowd turning its back at once. You felt it too. That moment when you wanted to speak up, and everyone around you seemed to agree, without saying it out loud, that you shouldn't. Almost 2,000 years ago, on a dusty road outside a city called Jericho, a blind man named Bartimaeus felt that exact same pressure. And what he did next is one of the strangest, boldest moments in the entire Bible. He was a beggar. He sat by the road every single day, because that road was the only income he had. People walked past him the way people walk past anything they've stopped noticing. Not cruel, just used to it. Then one day, the road got loud. A crowd was moving through, bigger than usual, buzzing with the kind of energy that only follows someone famous. Bartimaeus couldn't see any of it, but he could hear it. And when he asked what was happening, someone told him, Jesus of Nazareth is passing by. Here's where it gets interesting. Bartimaeus had never seen Jesus. Not once. He had only heard stories, second-hand, passed along the way rumors travel through a crowd. And yet, without hesitating, he started shouting. Not a polite request. A shout. Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me. The people around him told him to stop. The text is blunt about it. Many people rebuked him, told him to be silent. Think about that for a second. A blind beggar, already at the bottom of the social order in his world, is now being told by an entire crowd to shut up and know his place. What would you have done? Most people, in that position, go quiet. There's actually a name for this in psychology. In the 1950s, a researcher named Solomon Asch ran a famous experiment. He asked people simple questions with obvious answers, but he surrounded each person with a group of actors who all confidently gave the wrong answer out loud. And here's the unsettling part. A huge percentage of people changed their own answer to match the group, even when their eyes were telling them something completely different. Not because they were stupid. Because the pressure to conform is one of the strongest forces in the human mind. Bartimaeus didn't have Asch's research. He didn't need it. He had something else. He shouted louder. The text says it plainly, he cried out all the more. The crowd's rejection didn't shrink his voice. It multiplied it. Why? Psychologists who study hope, people like Charles Snyder, describe something called hope theory. It's not just wishful thinking. Real hope, the kind that changes behavior, is built from two things: believing there's a path forward, and believing you have the will to walk it. Bartimaeus believed both. He believed Jesus could help him. And he believed his own voice was worth using, even when everyone around him disagreed. And then something remarkable happens in the story. Jesus stops. Not the crowd. Jesus. In the middle of all that noise, all that momentum, all those people pressing in around him, he stops walking and says, "Call him." The same people who had just told Bartimaeus to be quiet now turned around and said, "Cheer up. Get up. He's calling you." Notice what didn't change. The crowd didn't suddenly respect Bartimaeus more. What changed is that the person with actual authority chose to listen to the one voice everyone else had tried to silence. Bartimaeus threw off his cloak, the text says, and jumped up. For a beggar in that world, a cloak wasn't just clothing. It was often his most valuable possession, sometimes even his bed at night, spread out to collect the coins people tossed him during the day. He threw it away without a second thought. He wasn't planning on needing it as a beggar anymore. Jesus asked him one question. Not what's wrong with you. Not what happened to you. He asked, "What do you want me to do for you?" It seems like a strange question to ask a blind man. Obviously he wants to see. But there's something important in Jesus asking instead of assuming. He gave Bartimaeus the dignity of naming his own need, out loud, in his own words. "Rabbi," Bartimaeus said, "I want to see." And Jesus told him, "Go, your faith has healed you." His eyesight returned immediately. Here's the detail most people miss. The story doesn't end with him going home to celebrate quietly. It says he followed Jesus on the road. The same road where he used to sit and beg is now the road he walks with his eyes wide open. There's a researcher named Angela Duckworth who spent years studying why some people keep going when the odds, and the crowd, are against them. She found that raw talent mattered far less than a quality she called grit, a combination of passion and sustained persistence toward a goal, even through resistance. Bartimaeus never trained for that moment on the road. He didn't need talent. He needed to keep shouting when the easier choice was silence. That's really what this story is about, isn't it? Not just a miracle. A choice. The choice to speak when you're told to be quiet. The choice to believe your voice matters even when a whole crowd disagrees. The choice to throw off whatever you've been sitting on, whatever has defined you, the moment you're finally called forward. You won't always have a crowd trying to silence you the way Bartimaeus did. But you'll have quieter versions of it. The voice in your own head that says, "Don't bother, they won't listen, know your place." That voice can be just as loud as any crowd. So here's the real question, the same one Jesus asked on that road outside Jericho. What do you want him to do for you? Because somewhere, right now, someone is being told to be quiet. And the story of Bartimaeus says the same thing it said 2,000 years ago on a dusty road in Jericho. Shout anyway.